You know, when you want to take 5 stories from the life of a giant like Abu Bakr, it became a very, very difficult task. What to take and what to leave. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh. Anybody knows his name? What's Abu Bakr's name? Abu Bakr is not a name. Abu Bakr is a kunya. Abdullah, very good. Aisha radiallahu anha, she said, Ismu Abi Abdullah. My father's name is Abdullah. And Aisha, his daughter, she knows him better than anyone else. Some people said his name Al-Atiq. والصحيح أن العتيق كان وصفا له. Al-Atiq, it means the beautiful, which it means something beautiful, something very a handsome man, very unique in his features. So that's why they call the rubies Atiq. يعني الحجر المعتق, something very valuable, something very special. His name, not necessarily means old. No, Al-Atiq in لغة العرب, it means something beautiful. Because he was a very handsome man. I don't know who turned off the light, but if this is something the sisters want to do, like you guys want to turn the light like that, if everybody agrees on that, that's fine for me. If somebody doesn't want the darkness, they always can come to the light here. His name Abdullah, the son of Uthman ibn Amir. He meets the Prophet ﷺ in his lineage in Murrah ibn Ka'b ibn Lu'ay. So he basically reached and her great-great-great-grandfather will be the same as the Prophet ﷺ. He's also have a nickname, As-Siddiq. والصديق ثبت بأحاديث كثيرة. Many ahadith shows that his nickname is As-Siddiq. For instance, في البخاري ومسلم عن أنس بن مالك رضي الله عنه that the Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم climbed the mountain of Uhud and Uhud was shaking. So the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم kicked the mountain with his feet and he said, أثبت أحد فإن عليك صديقا وشهيدين. On the top of you, a prophet and Siddiq and 2 shaheed. Siddiq, it means the truthful, and 2 martyrs, 2 shaheed, which is Umar radiallahu anhu and Uthman. Then you have in the Tirmidhi, Aisha radiallahu anha, she said, Ya Rasulullah, what this verse referring to? الَّذِينَ يُؤْتُونَ مَا آتَوا وَقُلُوبُهُمْ وَجِلَةٌ. Those who spend the money for the sake of Allah while there is fear in their heart. There is like their heart filled with fear. How come somebody give charity and give donations and all this? قالت أهو الرجل يزني ويسرق ويشرب الخمر يعني يتصدق. Someone who doing all these sins like drinking alcohol, do this and do that, okay, and and he has like fear in his heart. قال لا يا عائشة لكنه الرجل يصوم ويتصدق ويخاف ألا يقبل منه. يا عائشة, this verse referring to the person. He said, يَبْنَةَ الصَّدِّيقِ. Oh, the daughter of a Siddiq is the one who pray, fast, give charity, but he is worried that Allah will not accept from him. That's what this verse referring to. And this hadith in the Tirmidhi. هو مات في سن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. الذهبي رحمه الله said died in the age of 63. It might be around that age, 63 as the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم's age. We know that he died radiallahu anhu wa ardah in 13 Hijri in Jumadah al-Ula, in 23rd of August, 634. We know also he was born radiallahu anhu 2 years or so before the incident of Al-Fil, when the Abraha came from Yemen, came from Abyssinia to destroy Al-Kaaba. He is the first man who became Muslim radiallahu anhu wa ardah. And 5 of the 10 people mentioned that they are in Jannah became Muslim through him, like Uthman, Zubayr, Talha, Abdurrahman ibn Auf, Sa'id ibn Waqqas, radiallahu anhum jami'an. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam said, Inna min amanni nasi alayhi, la ilaha illallah. The one who has the biggest favor upon me, will be Abu Bakr. Inna min amanni nasi alayhi. في صحبته وماله. When it comes to companionship and wealth is Abu Bakr رضي الله عنه. He said صلى الله عليه وسلم في مسند أحمد قال ما نفعني مال أحد ما نفعني مال أبي بكر. Nobody's money ever benefited me like the money of Abu Bakr. Then Abu Bakr said, أنا ومالي لك يا رسول الله. He said, me and whatever I possess belong to you, Ya Rasulullah. And by the way, that's something inspired me to make a special lecture about this. You know, inshallah, which is تتبع نفقات أبي بكر. I would like to explore every single narration where Abu Bakr donated to the Prophet ﷺ, to understand why the Prophet ﷺ said, no one's money have benefited me more than Abu Bakr. It would be very interesting to see how this in reality, by looking and examining all the incidents in the seerah where Abu Bakr radiallahu anh gave his money to support the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And he said sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَلَوْ كُنْتُ مُتَّخِذًا خَلِيلًا غَيْرَ رَبِّي لَاتَّخَذْتُ أَبَا بَكْرٍ. If I would have al-Khalil, al-Khulla in Arabic language, هي أعلى درجة في المحبة لا تكون إلا لواحد. Al-Khulla in Arabic language means the one that you love so much, and that only one person can reach that level. Yani al-Khulla in Arabic language literally means that it be given to one person. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's Khalil is like us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his Khulla, his love to his creation or to some his servant can be given to multiple than, more than one. That's why Ibrahim is Khalilur Rahman, wa ana sahibukum Khalilur Rahman. The Prophet ﷺ also Khalilur Rahman. And that's different than a lot of Sufi traditions. They try to promote the Prophet ﷺ as Habibur Rahman and Ibrahim Khalilur Rahman. And Al-Khalil is higher level than Al-Habib. Al-Khulla higher than Al-Mahabba. Anyway, كان عمر يقول أعتق سيدنا أبو بكر سيدنا بلال. Our master, our Sayyid Abu Bakr, free our Sayyid Bilal رضي الله عنه وأرضاه. ولذلك كان يقول مسروق من أجل تابعي الكوفة يقول حب أبي بكر وعمر من السنة. Loving Abu Bakr wa Umar and recognize فضلهما, their virtue, from the Sunnah. والإمام ابن الجوزي رحمه الله in his book فضائل عمر قال كانوا يعلمون أولادهم حب أبي بكر وعمر كما يعلمون أولادهم السورة من القرآن. The early generations used to teach their children the love for Abu Bakr and Umar the same way they used to teach them the love of the surah of the Quran. And I would say this is a duty upon us as parents. It is a goal that we should have to encourage our kids to love Abu Bakr and Umar. And I'm not sure, I talk about even myself, I'm not sure if I would ask and I know my son Umar loves Umar so much, but he loves himself, so much. But Umar ibn al-Khattab, Abu Bakr, that will be a challenge. How can we make Umar and Abu Bakr appeal to our children today? Min as-Sunnah, it is from the Sunnah to love these two. From the Sunnah is to teach them the life of these Sahaba radiallahu anhu. Knowing about Abu Bakr especially, and Umar is different than any other companions, because the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, في حديث حذيفة اقتدوا بالذين من بعد أبا بكر وعمر. Take those who will come after me, okay, as a role model, Abu Bakr and Umar. By the way, some of the Rafidah, those who reject Abu Bakr and Umar, narrate this hadith in a different way. يقولون اقتدوا بالذين من بعد أبي بكر وعمر. They said no, من بعد أبا بكر وعمر. So what that means, يعني follow those who comes after Abu Bakr and Umar. So they switch it, which is completely wrong. It is من بعد أبي بكر وعمر. So it's بدل. فمن بعد, the one who comes after me, which is Abu Bakr and Umar رضي الله عنه. Abu Bakr is the one that the Prophet ﷺ said in regard to him, Sahih Muslim, مَا اجْتَمَعْنَا فِي امْرِئٍ إِلَّا دَخَلَ الْجَنَّةِ. Those who possess this quality, fasting, visiting a sick person, following janazah, giving charity in one day. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu did it in one day. He said, I did it. Which is very unique to show that Abu Bakr didn't excel only in the ibadat, but also in the social aspect. He visited a sick person, he followed janazah. So his life is so balanced, radiallahu anhu wa ardah. His life also, his ibadat, his relationship with Allah is very balanced. It's not only focused on the salah and the zakat and the night prayers. Aisha radiallahu anha تقول ما كان أبو بكر أكثر أصحاب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم صلاة ولا صياما. Aisha said, Abu Bakr كان أقلهم صلاة وصياما. Actually, she said, قالت كان أقلهم. He was the one who least when it comes to the number of days that he fasted and the number of salah that he used to pray. لكنه كان أكثرهم إيمانا وأكثرهم خوفا لله. He is the one who has most fear of Allah and most of his heart filled with faith رضي الله عنه وأرضاه. No doubt that he's so close to the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. الرشيد asked Imam Malik, قال أخبرني عن منزلة أبي بكر وعمر من رسول الله. فقال منزلتهما منه في حياته كمنزلتهما منه بعد موته. He said, if you want to know how close they were to the Prophet ﷺ, they were as close to him when he was alive like the way they are now after he died. Because Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was buried just right next to the Prophet ﷺ's body. If you go to Medina, you always see this green wall where they said this is the grave of the Prophet ﷺ, or the house of the Prophet ﷺ, the grave of the Prophet ﷺ. A lot of people think that the Prophet ﷺ here, Abu Bakr here, and Umar here. It's not like that. Actually, the second door, the Prophet ﷺ is like this. It's not like this. It's like this. So this, the room that you in front of you, in Nabi ﷺ inside it, buried, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, facing the Qibla, his face towards the Qibla, like on the side like this. And next to the Prophet ﷺ shoulder, عند كتف النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم رأس أبي بكر. The Prophet ﷺ head right where the Prophet ﷺ shoulder is. Then Umar radiallahu anh head where is Abu Bakr's shoulder is. ورأس عمر عند كتف أبي بكر رضي الله عنه. Shows you also there how close they were to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So I will start with a very special incident. And it's a very unique, and this is a random story, goes to different period of time in his life. It's that day when he gave his first khutbah as the Khalifa. أول خطبة له في الخلافة. It's a very short but unbelievable. He said, يا أيها الناس إني قد وليت عليكم ولست بخيركم فإن أحسنت فأعينوني وإن أسأت فقوموني. He said, O people, I have been put in authority over you, and I'm not the best of you. So if I do the right thing, and help me, and if I do the wrong thing, put me straight. الصدق أمانة والكذب خيانة. He said, truthfulness is a sacred trust, and lying is a betrayal. الضعيف فيكم قوي عندي حتى أرجع الحق أرجع إليه حقه إن شاء الله والقوي فيكم ضعيف عندي حتى آخذ منه الحق إن شاء الله. Then he said, the weak amongst you is strong in my sight. I will surely try to remove his pain and suffering. And the strong amongst you is weak to me. I will, Allah willing, realize the right from him fully. Then he said, لا يدع قوم الجهاد إلا ضربهم الله بالذل ولا تشيع الفاحش في قوم إلا عمهم الله بالبلاء. Then he said, رضي الله عنه, when people abandon jihad in the path of Allah, Allah humiliates them. When obscenes, fahisha, obscenes or indecency or fornication, things spread among any nation, calamities generally continued to descend upon them. Then he said in the end, he said, أطيعوني ما أطعت الله ورسوله فإذا عصيت الله ورسوله فلا طاعة لي عليكم. As long as I obey Allah and His Messenger, you should obey me. And if I not obey Allah and His Messenger, then obedience to me is not incumbent upon you. Yani if I order you to do something which is in the disobedience of Allah and His Messenger, don't obey me. This is and that's it. He said, أقم الصلاة. That's his basically his first speech after he became Khalifa radiallahu anhu. O people, I have been put in authority over you, and I'm not the best of you. This is the first rule that he put radiallahu anhu arda, to make sure that basically people are equal. The whole entire nations are equal. Nobody is favored upon another person except by the taqwa. There is, when it comes to rights, there is no difference between rulers and ruled, and leaders and citizens, and governors and the people and the citizen of the country. No different between a military person and basically a civilian. There is no arrogance in the Muslims community and the Muslim society. And he said that I'm not the best of you, not just because I am the king or I'm the president or I'm elected or I'm this, it means I'm the best of you. That's not how the best is recognized, but by the social status or by the money or by any one of these means. Also, he said, radiallahu anhu arda, so if I do the right thing, help me. And if I do wrong, then put me straight. That's another principle that he laid out, radiallahu anhu wa arda, that the ummah should be always seeking the truth. That's what motivates us. That's basically the navigation. هذه بوصلة الأمة. This is how we navigate our way. That it is basically, when we do the right thing, help me. But when I do the wrong thing, put me straight. Because as a ruler, he admitting that I might do mistakes, I might go astray. That's why when Umar radiallahu anhu said, what would you do if you see me go like this and like this? قال ما تفعلون إذا رأيتموني أذهب هكذا وهكذا. قام له رجل من الأعراب امتشق سيفه. A man stood up from the Bedouins and he said, if you go this way and that way, then he pulled his sword and he said, we will do this way and that way. قال نفعل بك هكذا وهكذا. يعني we will fight you. I'm here not to, Abu Bakr رضي الله عنه تقول عائشة رضي الله عنها كان أبي تاجرا حتى حمل الخلافة. My father was a businessman, was a rich person. فلما أصبح الخليفة أصبح فقيرا. He became faqir. And that's how the Salaf رضي الله عنهم أرضاه. They understood that this ummah is responsible for watching them and holding them accountable. لما دخل أحد الصحابة اليمن دخل بناقته وعليها حمل. When one of the companions became the governor of Yemen, he brought with him a camel and on the top of it bed and his stuff. قال إذا وجدتموني خرجت منها بغير هذا فخذوه مني. If you see me leave Yemen with more than this, I have no right. Take it back from me. رضي الله عنهم أجمعين. This is a very interesting foundation, is to give the power to the citizen to watch. And I'm not going to turn the talk to be very political, but also it is our responsibility towards our leaders. And these leaders can be in individuals or organizations. And I hope that you will accept my explicit examples. Sometimes I feel us as a community responsible for so much damages happening in the community. It is because we just don't stand up and speak up. I go to many communities, including our community here in Houston, including our community in Clear Lake, where we see things goes wrong, but we just don't talk. When we see that we are hurting one another in our projects, and we don't speak, we just let things go. We're not willing to correct people. And if the ummah take that responsibility and the people said, what is wrong and what is right is right. And we're not going to tolerate that. We want to hold people accountable for their actions. Also, it shows you that no matter how smart you are, how righteous you are, you always need people to help you. You always need people to oversight you. It's a very important principle in working. He said truthfulness is a sacred trust. And lying is a betrayal. As-sidq amana. This is a very heavy things in the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That's why Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, 3 people Allah will not talk to them in the day of judgment. Malikun kadhab, one of them a liar king. It's a very serious issue. Today, subhanAllah, it's interesting. Today, lying is embedded in our politics. It's interesting. You know, the law, even our law in the land here today, will not make the candidate accountable for his lying when he is running for an office. So if there is someone during the campaign said, I promise this, and he's lying, that will not be a problem. I will not be basically something that he will be legally responsible for it. Which is interesting. While if you lie in front of a federal officer, you can go 5 years to jail. Just a simple lie. If somebody lied to the whole ummah, which is bigger than just an officer, a whole nation, he can go free. What kind of nonsense is that? Lying is a betrayal. Look at the media today. When it's betrayal, it's trust. Look at the media, especially in the Muslim world. Unbelievable amount of lies. They betrayed the ummah. They give a different image than the reality. What's really happening. As-sidq is needed because you can't follow someone if you don't trust them. And you cannot trust someone if you know that he's not truthful person. The 4th principle that he laid out, when he said, the weakest among you is strong in my eyes, in my sight. And the strong among you is the weak in my sight. Because he recognized the right of the poor, that he will stand for it, for the right of those who are poor. He will not just let it go. He will not just turn his side to the other direction just to make sure to protect the rich people, and he forget about the poor people. To protect the famous ones, and he doesn't care for the people who have less fame. Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah said something very beautiful, and before Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn Hazm said that actually, to be accurate. Ibn Hazm said, إن الله لا ينصر الدولة الظالم العادل الكافرة فوق الدولة المسلمة الظالمة. Allah give victory to a just government who's not Muslims, who's a secular, over a religious government or religious state, even if it's Muslim. Unjust state, even if it's Muslim. So unjust state, injustice in a state, even if it's a Muslim, it will not lead for the state to succeed. Allah will not give them success. But Allah might give success to a nation who's not Muslims, who's secular, or in a sense they don't believe in God, atheist community or society, or a country, if they are fair and just. وَكَذَلِكَ أَخْذُ رَبِّكَ إِذَا أَخَذَ الْقُرَى وَهِيَ ظَالِمَةٌ إِنَّ أَخْذَهُ أَلِيمٌ شَدِيدٌ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroy the villages when it is filled with injustice. إِنَّمَا أَهْلَكَ الَّذِينَ كَانُوا مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ. في الصحيح عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في البخاري من حديث عائشة, that the Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم said, what destroyed the nations before you. كان إذا سرق فيهم الشريف تركوه وإذا سرق فيهم الضعيف أقاموا عليه الحد. When a rich person steal, or a famous or powerful person steal, they let him go. And when a poor person steal, they will apply the punishment. والله لو أن فاطمة بنت محمد سرقت لقطعت يدها. Wallahi, if the Fatima, the daughter of Muhammad, steal, I will cut her hand off. I will apply the punishment to her. There is no wasta. There is no, breaks. There is, because he's the famous family or connected to the royal family or connected to the president or from the military or because he's rich. No. Justice is justice. Radiallahu an Umar. That's why Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam قال لا بوركت أمة. Allah will never bless a nation. Will never bless a nation. لا يطلب فيها الضعيف حقه غير متعتع. That a weak person cannot speak up and ask for his rights. Al-Hafidh ibn Hajar rahimahullah comment in the story of the Prophet ﷺ, when the Prophet ﷺ said to Huzayya, to one of the companions before the war, the Prophet ﷺ pushed him. So Huzayya said, Ya Rasulullah, you hurt me. Then the Nabi ﷺ uncovered his stomach and he said, take this stick and push me to be equal. Take your revenge. And Ibn Hajar said, see, he even uncovered, because that man, he doesn't have anything to cover his stomach. So the Prophet wanted to be completely equal. He removed that thin layer of materials, of cloth covering his stomach. And he said, come. Ibn Hajar said, comment, very interesting point. He mentioned something in the line of how that companion felt freely to speak up and to say, you have hurt me. That a society that sanctioned the right and protect the right of every person to speak up against the ruler and to say, you know what, you did this to me and that's wrong. He was not afraid to be killed, to put in jail, to disappear. No. The fifth principle that he laid down in this speech, the issue of al-jihad fi sabilillah. Any nation, any ummah has to be strong, willing to defend itself, to defend its honor. Any nation, if it doesn't have that power next to it, it will be a nation no respect for it. Why you think we have why America is so mightily powerful nation? Because of our military might, because of our power. That's a common sense. And I always say, al-jihad al-Islam, the concept of al-jihad al-Islam, it's a chapter that you will see it similar to what we teach students in the military schools today, like West Point, for example. You go to study in college and study in the military or royal military schools or academy in England and all these countries. That's where Kitab al-Jihad is taught in Islam. In places like this. That's why العلماء لم يكونوا يشرحوا كتب الجهاد للعامة. You will not find a Kitab al-Jihad, a class in the masajid, because these books is basically addressed to the soldiers. Al-Jihad in Islam, it's what constitute what we call today a minister of the Ministry of Defense or Ministry of War or the Army or the Navy or whatever you call it. Oh, somebody needs to talk to these kids. Yeah, there is a place for them to play back there. Okay. So, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam told us, radiyallahu anhu, he said, if the time comes that people abandon jihad fi sabilillah, ضرب الله عليهم الذل, that they will be humiliated. Also, number 6, which is, he said, when obscene or fornications, indecency, things spread among any nation, إلا عمهم الله بالبلاء, and spread among them. Any nation, calamities generally continue to descend upon them. And that's interesting. شاعت فيهم الفاحشة, spread. And unfortunately, I can't see any time where the fahisha, the indecency, spread like our days. Social media, TVs, videos, movies, you name it. Advertising, everything. It's just about, subhanAllah, sexualizing everything, and indecency became something so common. And it became so common thing. With all these sexual harassments that we hear about every day, these days, it's like became a trend. It's trigger, everybody basically starts speaking up against it. Shaykh Ja'far Shaykh Idris said something very interesting once. Shaykh Ja'far Shaykh Idris said, Al-Islam close all the door that lead to fahisha, that lead to indecency. Okay? Close all the door. And when somebody fall into this fahisha, Al-Islam, yes, there is punishment, but also there is sitr, there is dealing with this person, with hikmah, While, on the other hand, you see in other cultures, in modern days, all the door to fahisha widely open. All access to indecency widely open. And if somebody did it, that's it. There is no return. Doomed to hell. I think if somebody did it, deserved to be punished. But even the culture is not a culture of forgiveness. I'm not just to forgive or not to forgive. But like it is just that everything will be erased. Unfortunately, this attitude today adopted by some Muslims. And that's how they behave today. That basically, they behave in the same mindset. I hope that one day the conversation will go to ask the question, why there is so much of this incident coming up? Maybe we need to start thinking about certain laws, like in England recently, I was there last week, and in England now there is a lot of talk about the law that it used to be practiced in England about 50 years ago or so. It's what part of the English law or practices, which is no one man and woman allowed to be alone in business transactions by themselves. In any deal or any, basically man and woman cannot be alone together. It has to be a third party in it. And there is actually now a talk, there is a term for it, I forgot it right now. But there is a term for it in the business world that they use. And now in England they talk about how come we don't revival that concept. There is so much problem. Statistically is crazy, it's scary. Women go to workforce, most of them get harassed one way or another, sexually harassed one way or another. Also, this shows that there is no nation can survive if there is no morality in the society. And the final one, he said, as long as I obey Allah and His Messenger, you should obey me. It gives that concept of a complete obedience to a human being. ما في أحد عنده طاعة مطلقة إلا الله ورسوله. The only one that we completely follow blindly is Allah and His Messenger because He represents Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I can see the Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu giving his first speech on that minbar, addressing the companions and telling them all this, giving them these powerful words to show how he will lead the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the same footsteps of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The second story, going back earlier in his life, Aisha radiallahu anha, she said, when أصحاب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كانوا قرابة 39 رجلا, about 39 companions, ألح أبو بكر على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Abu Bakr insist, Ya Rasulullah, Ya Rasul, let us openly declare our Islam. You know how they used to meet in secret? Now there are about 39 of them. He said, Ya Rasulullah, that's a good number, let's go out. ألح قال يا أبا بكر إنا قليل. Ya Abu Bakr, with few. He said, no, we're so many. 39 is more than enough. Ya Rasulullah, Ya Rasulullah, Ya Rasulullah. فما زال يلح حتى وفقه صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. So they went out to the masjid. فتفرقوا في نواحي المسجد. They basically spread around الكعبة in Mecca. فقام أبو بكر خطيبا في الناس. Abu Bakr stood up and started addressing the people. فكان أول خطيب في الإسلام دعا إلى الله. He is the first khatib ever give a sermon or openly invited people to Islam. فثار عليه المشركون. The people of Quraysh became so angry at him. وثاروا على المسلمين معه, and they were angry at him and with his companion. فضربوا أبا بكر ضربا شديدا. They beat Abu Bakr so badly. حتى إن عتبة دنا منه. عتبة بن ربيعة came closer to him. وجعل يضرب وجهه بنعلين مخصوفتين. يعني has a thick pad in it. That's Utbah holding both very thick shoes in his both hands, and he starts hitting Abu Bakr like this in his face. Can you imagine Abu Bakr's face? And he's hitting Abu Bakr on his face. يضربه على وجهه بنعلين ثم نزوا على بطن أبي بكر فما فرغ منه حتى لا تعرف وجهه من أنفه. By the time they finished, they beat him in his stomach, they kick him in his stomach. By the time they finished, I said you can't tell what is his nose and his face is. In another word, what that means, have you ever seen people beaten up? Real beat up. In ER, doctors know, your face became basically swollen. That in the same level of your nose. Became all on the same level. That's why she said, you can't tell his nose from the rest of his face. It's all like swan. Radiallahu anhu. So, what do you think? He fainted. So, Banu Taym, his tribe, came and protected Abu Bakr. He almost died. They carried him while he fainted. They carried him to his house. سالت دماؤه واشتكت أعضاؤه لم يفق من عشيته إلا آخر النهار من غشته إلا آخر النهار. This is in the morning after Fajr. He woke up basically by the end of the day. Who's next to him? His mother. تبكي بيدها الطعام والماء. She crying, holding water and food. Abu Bakr barely opened his eyes. And when he saw her, he said, Ummah ma fa'ala Rasulullah. The first thing he said when he opened his eyes, he said, Ya Ummah, mother, what the Prophet ﷺ did. فغضبت فقالت والله ما أوقعك في هذا إلا صاحبك. She was angry. She said, the only reason you like this is because of your friend. I don't know. ما لي به علم. Then he said, Ummah, sali an khabari. Can you please ask, is he safe? Was he also beaten? Was he also attacked? He was worried that the Prophet ﷺ also attacked like him. Then she said, فَأَرْسَلَتْ إِلَى أُمِّ جَمِيلٍ. She sent to Jamil. Who's Jamil? Abu Lahab's wife. Okay, the Prophet's uncle. فاطمة بنت الخطاب. فقدمت وبشرته بأنه سالم بحمد الله. She came and said, no, he's safe, nobody touch him. فأقبلت عندها أمه بطعامها وشرابها. She offered him food and drink. فقال يا أماه والله لا أذوق طعاما ولا شرابا حتى آتي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وأراه. I will not eat or drink until I see him with my eyes safe and sound. صلى الله عليه وسلم. أي حب هذا? What kind of love is this? Unbelievable. Unbelievable رضي الله عنه. قال فحملوه تخط قدماه. They carried him, he couldn't walk. And his feet were dragging, making lines on the sand. Because he wanted to go see the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when he saw the Prophet with the Prophet, the companions, the Muslims stood up. فَجَعَلُوا يَعْتَنِقُونَ أَبِي. They start hugging my father, kissing him, and basically wiping the blood from his face. رضي الله عنه وأرضاه. And in Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam seeing him like that, then Abu Bakr said, بأبي أنت وأمي يا رسول الله ليس من بأس بي إلا ما ناله الفاسق من وجهي. Ya Rasulullah, may Allah protect you even if that cost me to lose my both parents. Don't worry, they didn't get anything out of me except my face. This fasiq, except my face. He beat my face. Who's carrying him, you think? His mother. He said, this is my mom taking good care of me. قال هذه أمي. قال برة بولدها. She's taking good care of her son. فادعوا الله لها. وادعوا الله لي أن يستنقذها من النار. Make dua for her that Allah save her from hellfire. See, he's taking the opportunity for Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam to do that. فدعا لها ودعاها. He made dua for her and he gave her da'wah. فما رضي الله عنها, when she saw that, she said, أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمد رسول الله. She became Muslim. That's just enough for Abu Bakr to forget about everything at that point, that his mother became Muslim. But his father didn't. You know, his father stayed mushrik 20 years. 20 years. His father became Muslim when the Prophet ﷺ came and conquered Mecca. And his father, Abu Quhafa, came, كَأَنَّهُ ثُغَامَةٌ بَيْضَاء. Hair, messy, white, big beard, white beard. His hair is like, a lot of hair in his head, and it's all white. He said, the narrator said, he looks like a cloud. ثُغَامَةٌ بَيْضَاء. He looks like a cloud. وَتَرْتَجِفْ يَدَهُ. His hand shaking. قَالَ أَرَى عُرُوقِ يَدَيْهِ. The narrator said, I can see his vein, which it means he's very old. And he said he's shaking. He's old at that time, radiallahu anhu arda. And he want to give the bay'ah to the Prophet ﷺ to declare Islam. That's 20 years. Abu Bakr, the best da'iyah, the best person ever. It took his father 20 years to become Muslim. What are lessons that we can learn? He never gave up. So when he shook his hand, baka Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. Abu Bakr broke in tears. But the tears were surprisingly not what you think. قال يا رسول الله لوددت أن اليد التي صافحت يد عمك أبا طالب. He said, Ya Rasulullah, I wish that this hand that just shook your hand wasn't my father, was it the hand of your uncle Abu Talib? Because I know how much you will be so happy if your uncle became Muslim. You will be much happier than now. Yani he cared for the happiness of Rasulullah over his own father to be Muslim. So when he said, Bi Abi anta ummi ya Rasulullah, he really means it. He's a very Siddiq, very truthful person in what he says. When he was with the Prophet ﷺ in Hijrah, you know the story. Imām al-Nabi in the front of the Prophet ﷺ, behind the Prophet ﷺ. Then the Nabi ﷺ, khalas, come down. Why are you doing this, Ya Abu Bakr? He said, Ya Rasulullah, I'm worried that they will see you or somebody attack you from the front, so I'll be the first one to be attacked. So I protect you. Then I think about your back. I said, go behind your back to protect your back. Then on the sides. And I just want to protect you from all sides. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had water and he's thirsty. Abu Bakr and the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Rasulullah, you start. Then the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam sharib. Then the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam قال له تشرب قال شربت يا رسول الله وذهب ظمئي. By the way, it's not a mistake. He said, my thirst went away, quenched. My thirst quenched. Why? Because you drank. When you quench your thirst, mine gone. I'm good. What you had, what you just consumed is good enough for me. جعل ذهب ظمأ النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ذهب ظمأ هو. This love of Abu Bakr to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, important lessons for us. Last year I went to Umrah in December. By the way, we still open the floor if you guys joining us for December for Umrah, inshallah. I have about 5 families from here going. Somebody came to me and he said to me something very interesting. He said, Shaykh Waleed, the reason I came to this Umrah, and he's an older gentleman, okay, and from a Muslim country. He said, the reason I came with you to Umrah, one reason, is not really for Umrah. I said, what? He said, Shaykh, I'll be very honest with you. This was in Masjid al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in Haram, in Medina. He said, I want to talk to you alone. He said, I came here, I'm like in my 50s, I born, raised Muslim. I can't say that I love Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And it's really hurting me. But I'll be honest with you, ya Shaykh, I never knew why should I love him. I'm now in my 50s, and I tell you the truth, I really don't love him. I'm his messenger, but love, I can't tell that I do. Can you tell me why should I love the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And I said to him things in the line of, yes, we love the Prophet ﷺ for many reasons. And one of them, that the Nabi ﷺ loves us. And it's a natural that you love those who love you. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, وَدِدْتُ أَنِّي لَقِيتُ إِخْوَانِي. I wish that I met my brothers. He said, aren't we all your brother? He said, no. My brother are the one who will come after me. And believe in me and never met me. You love naturally those who care about you. If someone cared about you so much, wouldn't you love that person? He said, yes. I said, Aisha radiallahu anha, she said, Ya Rasulullah, make dua for me. He said, oh Allah, forgive Aisha all her sin. What she did in the past or the future, or will do in the future. What she did in public or secret. ما قدمت وأخرت وأعلنت وأسررت. ضحكت وابتسمت. She was smiling so happily. Then he said, you happy? She said, who wouldn't be happy with this da'wah? قال هي دعوتي لأمتي في كل صلاة. في مسند البزار. He said, I do this salah every night prayer. I make this dua for the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why? Because Allah told him, وَاسْتَغْفِرْ لِذَنْبِكَ وَلِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Ask forgiveness for your sins and the sins of the believing men and women. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, every single prophet in the day of judgment will say, نفسي نفسي. إلا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول أمتي أمتي. He said, my nation, my nation. That someone cares so much. That's why I love the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I love the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam because I know he benefited me the most. Nothing that it will help me to be a good person unless the Prophet explained it. And this message was delivered. And that's something to reflect upon. How can you have that love? I can tell you one thing. You will never be able to love someone you don't know. And I asked this brother, have you ever read anything about the description of the Prophet ﷺ? Like Shama'il? He said, no. Have you read the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ? No. Obviously, you're never going to love someone who just you don't know. The more you know about the Prophet ﷺ, the more you will love the Prophet ﷺ. The third story, quickly. It's after the death of the Prophet ﷺ. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh has this big army of Usama. Usama was 18 years old at that time, young man. And the Prophet ﷺ wanted Usama to take the army to where? All the way to Asham, to Syria, to fight the Romans who making a threat to the Muslim state at that time. So the Prophet ﷺ, after his death, العرب تقول عائشة ما بقي حي في العرب إلا ارتد. There is no single tribe in Arabia unless they left Islam. No single tribe. They had salah in Mecca, in Medina, and in a small little masjid in the east province of Arabia today. It's called al-Ahsa. Okay? So this area, it's Hajar. They had a masjid. That's it. And everywhere else, all the masajid shut down. And the tribes start gathering together, and you have someone claim he's a prophet in the middle of Arabia, someone claim prophet in Yemen, a woman claimed that she's a prophet, and the whole entire place became mess. And they not only that, plotting to attack the Muslims in Medina. And their army came all the way to Medina that they can hear the tent of Abu Bakr. And the story, that's not my story. It's worth, the whole Ridda story is an interesting story. But they were so close to Abu Bakr's camp. Their army was so big. And here Abu Bakr sending this big, huge army to Syria. So, you know what? Everybody said, yeah, Abu Bakr, you can't do that. Let them stay here to defend Medina and to fight the local people here who left Islam. قال لو علمت أن السباع تجر برجلي, if I see lions eating my or next to my feet and eating my feet or my legs just so close to me to that extent, I will not let them stay. قال ولا أحل لواء عقده رسول الله. Something the Prophet ﷺ did and he commanded and he commissioned, I would never decommission. They said, at least get someone older to lead. كان who suggested that to him? عمر. قال فأخذ بلحية عمر وقال ثكلتك أمك يا ابن الخطاب. He pulled Umar's beard and he said ثكلتك أمك يا ابن الخطاب. استعمله رسول الله وتأمرني أن أنزعه. The Prophet pointed him as a leader and you want me to tell him no and to remove him? Then he gathered them and he gave them his famous speech about the rule of war. Then he walked. Now Usama, see, Abu Bakr is very smart because there is doubt about Usama. He's young, 18 years old. Okay? So what Abu Bakr did, he let Usama being in his ride and Abu Bakr walking. يمشي وهذا على ناقته. While he's riding, his ride. فقال أسامة يا خليفة رسول الله. Not proper. قال لتركبن أو لأنزلن. Either you ride another horse or like something, or I will step down and walk with you. قال والله لا تنزل والله لا أركب. والله you're not getting down and I'm not riding anything. وما علي أن أغبر قدمي في سبيل الله ساعة. What's wrong with Abu Bakr to dust his feet for a little bit, walking? What's going to harm me? And he was very firm. And this is a lesson from this man's life. He holding to the sunnah. He has so much trust in the sunnah. He knows that the right thing has to be done. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect him. He's not willing to leave what the Prophet ﷺ have basically put for them. That's why he was so firm in fighting the murtaddeen. When they said we're not going to give the zakat. And by the way, a lot of people don't understand. When they said we're not going to give zakat, Abu Bakr declared war. When you just understand what I just earlier told you, how many people left Islam, you will say the zakat, maybe we can wait on those people a little bit. Maybe you can give them a break. Maybe, there is excuse. Let me deal with Musaylam al-Kadhab. Let me deal with Al-Anasi. Let me deal with Sajah. Let me deal with all these people claim prophethood, or this is like bigger issue, bigger kufr. Abu Bakr said, no, all of them. Wallahi, if they used to give the Prophet ﷺ rope, just a rope, iqala ba'ir, the rope that they used to tie the camels with, and they stopped giving it, I will fight them over it. And the Muslim went and they win all the wars. Umar radiallahu anhu, he kissed Abu Bakr's head and he said, قبل رأسه وقال وجدتك أحسن مني وأمضى. You are more firm than me. A lot of people think one of the lessons that you learn, Abu Bakr known to have a soft heart. But soft heart, one thing. But being firm is another thing. Having yaqeen on the sunnah of the Prophet, another thing. He knows that what the Prophet did, he didn't do it just for a reason. He knows what he did when he appointed Usama. That's why كان أبو بكر يقول إني أخشى إن تركت شيئا من سنة رسول الله أن أزيغ. I'm worried if I leave one sunnah, I will go astray. He was so firm in following the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Another incident, number 4, quickly. You all heard the story between Abu Bakr and Umar when they fought one another, and I gave a whole khutbah about it, called the clash of the giants. When the giants clash. But this is another story, similar, between him and Rabi'ah al-Aslami. And this narration في مسند أحمد بإسناد جيد. Rabi'ah al-Aslami said, كنت أخدم رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. It's a beautiful story. I used to serve the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. Then Rabi'ah said one day the Prophet said, يا Rabi'ah, ألا تتزوج? Why didn't you get married? Then he said, يا رسول الله, how can I marry? I don't want to get married. I don't have anything. ما عندي ما يقيم امرأة. I have nothing to spend on any woman. وما أحب أن يشغلني شيء عنك. I don't want to be distracted with anything that take me away from you. فأعرض عني. He left me alone. Then he said next time, يا ربيع, why are you not getting married? Get married. قال يا رسول الله, I don't have anything to offer any woman. I don't have any money. And he said, and I don't want to be distracted from your service. I want to commit it to your service. He left me. Then I said to myself, now the Prophet ﷺ telling me something, and I'm saying no. قال هو أعلم بدنياي وآخرتي. He knows what's best for me in this dunya and the next. فقلت في نفسي إن سألني ثالثة لأجيبنه. If he ever asks me again, I'll say yes. Then he said, third time I came to the Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم, said, ألا تتزوج? Don't you want to get married? قال مرني بما شئت. Tell me what you want, Ya Rasulullah, I will do it. Say me, direct me. You know my situation. قال انطلق إلى آل فلان من الأنصار. Go to such and such family from الأنصار. وكان فيهم تراخ عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Those people, or this family, not among the family who regularly comes to the masjid. They're not among the people who are always, that's why Nabi Sallam didn't see them for a while. But again, these good member of the community. Then most likely because they're working or have business, whatever the reason. Then Rabi'a went to them and they said, the Prophet asked me to come to you to marry me so and so. تزوجونني فلانا. Then they said, مرحبا برسول رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Welcome the messenger of Allah. And the messenger of Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم would never go back empty-handed. قال فزوجوني وألطفوني وما سألوني بينة. They were very nice to me, very kind to me. They married me to their daughter, and they did not ask me any proof for what I said or anything to offer the woman, a mahar, a dawah. I came to the Prophet ﷺ sad, and he said, Ya Rabi'a, why are you sad? He said, Ya Rasulullah, you sent me to such nice people, qawman kiram, and noble people. They married me, they treated me very well, they respected me so much, and they asked me nothing. And I have nothing to offer their daughter. I feel bad. Then the Nabi ﷺ said, اجمعوا لبريدة نواة ذهب. Collect for him some money. Then they collected amount of money equal to a small, basically, weight, it's called nawah, very small amount of gold. And he said, equal to what is that? And he said, take this and give it to them as mahar. And he said, I was so happy, I took it and I gave it to them. قال هذا كثير طيب مع أن النواة هذه ولا شيء. They told me, this is a lot, this is so good. What a family. Okay? It's not like these days. I remember I was trying to marry one of the brothers here to a family in America. It's actually from New Jersey. So if you're hearing me and you're from New Jersey, don't be mad at me. So the family in New Jersey told me, oh Sheikh, the rate that's going on in our New Jersey area is $70,000 for dowry. Al-Mahar 70,000. That's the rate in New Jersey. I said, wow, what about, I said, it's after tax or before tax? So, you know, these people, he gave them this little bit of amount of gold. He said, they were kathirun tayyib. Then I came back to the Prophet, I'm sad. He said, Ya Rabi'a, why are you sad now? قال يا رسول الله ما رأيت أكرم منهم. I never seen any people like this. So nice, so noble. I give them what you give me, and they were so happy with it. I said, so what? He said, لكن ما عندي, I don't have anything أولم عليه. These such a good people. I wish that I can offer food or يعني making a feast for them. قال اجمعوا له شاه. Gather him some money so he can buy a sheep. قال فجمعوا لي كبشا عظيما. يعني جمعوا لي ما يساوي قيمة كبش عظيم. They collected for me what is equal to, I can buy a big ram, a big sheep. So, النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, not only that, he said, قال فاذهب إلى عائشة. Go to my wife Aisha. فلتبعث بالمكتل الذي فيه الطعام. Let her give you the container, there's all the food. The Prophet doesn't have meat, he has what? Barley. So he said, she will give you some barley. So you basically cook the barley, make bread with meat. That's what the people eat at that time. قال فأتيتها فقالت هذا المكتل فيه 9 آصع جمع صواع. She said 9 آصع, يعني 9 صواع. And she said صاع أو أصوع كلها صحيحة في اللغة. Anyway, then she said, take it. She said, that's the only thing we have at home. La ilaha illallah. Ma akramah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He doesn't tell people donate, and he never do. He is the first to give. Give everything he has in his house to this man. Ask all what he has. He give it to him. قالت والله لا والله إن أصبح لنا طعام غير. We don't have anything else other than this. He said, I came to the Prophet and said, Ya Rasulullah, Aisha is saying this is the only thing, by the way, we have at home. He said, take it. And I went to the family of my bride with the ram and with the barley. Then I said, I got you bread and meat. Let's celebrate. Do the party. فقالوا أما الخبز فسنكفيكموه وأما الكبش فعليك وعلى قومك. We do the bread, we'll bake the bread, and you do the meat. Basically, you do the deal with the. قال فذبحناه وسلخناه وطبخناه. We cut it. We basically took care of it. And in the morning, next day, we made a big feast, and everybody came. Then he said, I made a feast and I invited the Prophet ﷺ. When the Nabi ﷺ came, قال فأعطاني أرضا. He gifted me a piece of land. The Nabi ﷺ gifted him a piece of land. وأعطى أبا بكر أرضا. And he gave Abu Bakr next to it another piece of land as a gift. قال فاختلفت أنا وأبا بكر. لكن شوف كيف قال. قالت وجاءت الدنيا بيننا. شوف الدنيا عاد في ذاك الزمان وش نخلة. He said the dunya came between me and Abu Bakr. The Prophet said this land to you and this land to Abu Bakr. In the middle there one tree, palm tree. This is the dunya for him. He said it became in my land. Finally I said this is in my land. Abu Bakr said this is in my land. And we'd have a dispute over it is belong to me or belong to him. قال فكان بيني وبين أبي بكر كلام. Back and forth, and we start talking to each other. فقال أبو بكر كلمة كرهها وندمها. Abu Bakr said something wasn't good, that he regretted it, and he was not happy with it. فقال يا ربيعة القصاص. He said, يا ربيعة, revenge. Say the same to me. Then I said, Wallahi, I will not do the same to you. I don't say things like this. قال لتقولن أو لأستعدين رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عليك. يعني لأشتكي لرسول الله. If you don't say the same to me and we settle this, you say, because like whatever I said to you, said to me, so we became equal. That's Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. Want to be like, let's say he said, you this, you tell me the same thing, khalas, we're equal. I said, I will not. He said, you will. I will not. He said, I will go to the Prophet and complain to him. He said, I don't know. Then Abu Bakr said, you know what? The whole entire tree belonged to you. But just say it to me so we can settle the matter. And he said, I don't want your palm tree and I'm not going to say this to you. فانطلق أبو بكر, and so Nabi left me and he went to the Prophet. And I'm following him. Who saw this? Rabi'a's tribe, Bani Aslam. Then when they heard that, they said, why Abu Bakr said this? Abu Bakr, he's the one who basically said the bad thing to you. So why he's angry now and going to the Prophet to complain? He's the one who wronged you. شوف العقل, شوف الحكمة. Listen to what's coming next. Then Rabi'a said, أتدرون من هذا? You know who that person is? He said, yeah. Then he said, هذا أبو بكر ثاني اثنين إذ هما في الغار. This is Abu Bakr, the one Allah said when both of them were in the cave. ذو شيبة المسلمين. This is the older among the Muslims. لا يلتفت. Don't ever let him look back. فيراكم تنصرونني عليه فيغضب لغضبه رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فأهلك. Now I want him to see that I'm bringing like a crowd and a mob and like, bringing people to support me now. So I don't want him to see, get out of here, leave. I will deal with Abu Bakr with the Rasul together. I don't need you. I don't want to make it bigger problem. Because if he sees this, he became angry, and if the Prophet saw him angry, he will be angry at me and that will be my destruction. قال, I followed him until he came to the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. شوف كيف. قال فحدثه الحديث كما كان. He told him exactly what happened. Then the Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم raised his head, رفع رأسه إلى ربيعة, قال يا ربيعة ما لك وللصديق. Why you are, what happened between you and the Siddiq? قلت يا رسول الله. That what happened. He said to me something, كلمة كرهها, something he felt bad about it. And he asked me to say it to him. And I said, I'm not going to do it. قال أجل, you're right يا ربيعة. Because if somebody said something bad to you, you should not say the same thing to you. It's not going to make it equal. قال لا ترد علي, you shouldn't say that. ولكن, what is you should say, غفر الله لك يا أبا بكر. May Allah forgive you, Abu Bakr. Then immediately I said, غفر الله لك يا أبا بكر. قال فذهب أبو بكر يبكي رضي الله عنه. Abu Bakr put his head down and he started broken tears and he left. رضي الله عنه. This is an interesting story. Many lessons. But what's related to Abu Bakr رضي الله عنه? Number one, no matter how perfect you are, no matter how good you are, you're not a perfect person. That's number one. Number two, look at how Abu Bakr رضي الله عنه, immediately he realized that he did something wrong and he apologized. And he gave him even the tree. And he asked for revenge to be equal. He was not like, want to make bad, but he thought this is going to make it equal. It's like if I hit you, you hit me back, we خلاص, gone. Also, look at this smart man who said, do you know who's this Abu Bakr? Sometimes we need to understand that there is people who have so much credit, so much value. We need to forgive and to let things go. Yes, we can speak to them, but we just don't forget about what this person is, who the person is. Also, we learn from the story that you say, غَفَرَ اللَّهُ لَكَ is enough to let things go. One of the lessons that ad-dunya causes problems. Ad-dunya was what? A palm tree. But can you imagine if it is a couple of $1 million? If it is a business, if it is a car, if it is a contract. People lose brothers and relatives over that. Be careful, ad-dunya can break people. ولذلك كانوا يقولون إذا تأخى رجلان لم يكونوا يستحبوا لهما أن يدخلا في تجارة. In the early generation, when people love one another, they don't want, if they are brothers and very close friends, they said don't make business together. Because when you bring the dunya in the middle, it causes problems. What is it? A small piece of land. Let Fatima radiallahu anha, Sayyidat Nisa al-Jannah, be angry at Abu Bakr and she doesn't talk to him and she doesn't even go to support his bay'ah. Over what? Over a piece of land. Her and Ali radiallahu anhu. Worth nothing. What's a piece of land? But it's, subhanAllah, the dunya has a value in people's hand and mind. And that's human nature. So be very careful how the dunya, when it comes to the middle, between you and your friends, and you and your relatives. Also, problems will happen between us. But what's so important is to know how to deal with the problems. When we disagree with each other, when we wrong one another. It is so important for Abu Bakr radiallahu anh that he related the story exactly the way it happened. لا يخصم في الفجورة. لا يفجر في الخصومة. Also, one of the stories how he said to his people, go, I will deal with Abu Bakr. Sometimes this crowd and basically inviting people into the middle, we make it more bigger than what it is. You can control it in a small city. The last story that I have for tonight. Umar radiallahu anh said, كنت أفتقد أبا بكر أيام خلافته. I used to watch Abu Bakr while he's Khalifa. فلحقته يوما, I follow him one day outside Medina. He was like going in secret. And he entered a house. بيتا حقيرة, very small, يعني old house. في ضواحي المدينة, outside Medina. Stayed for a while, then he left. Back to Medina. So I entered and I found this old blind woman, has children, And he said, Yarhamikillah ya amat Allah. Allah have mercy on you. Who's the man who just came here and visited you? She said, I don't know him. إنه يتردد علينا ولا أعرفه. I don't know who he is. He comes always, all the time here. What he does? قالت يكنس دارنا. He sweep the house. ويطبخ عشاءنا. He cook the food. وينظف قدورنا. He wash the dishes. ويجلب لنا الماء. He brings water because it's a desert. You know, water required people to go bring it from the source where the water is. ثم يذهب. And يحلب شاتنا. He will milk the goat. ثم يذهب. He leaves. I don't know. جزاه الله خير. فبكى عمر. He cried. وقال الله أكبر. أتعبت من بعدك يا أبا بكر. You made it so hard for those who will come after you, Abu Bakr. You know, it is so important for each and every one of us أن يكون له مع الله خبيئة. It's so important for you to have something between you and Allah. Only you and Allah knows about it. Some kind of ibadah, some kind of charity, some kind of work that nobody else knows about. Something private. هذه عبادة السر من أعظم أسباب النجاة يوم القيامة. One of the most important reasons for you to be saved in the day of judgment. ومن أعظم أسباب الثبات على الدين. One of the most important reasons for people to stay upon religion when they do a lot of good ibadat in private manner. You know, العلماء يقولون, it's like this example of what? الوتد, the peg that you put for the tent. Huh? Majority of it has to be what? Hidden. And a little bit outside. That's where you have one which is strong. Thabit. Subtle. But if the majority outside and a little bit inside, any push can knock it out. And that's you. If all your ibadat, majority of it's about in public, and there is nothing between you and Allah, nothing when you go home, nothing before you go to sleep, you never open the Mus'haf, you never read 2 verses of the Quran, you never read a book by yourself, you never like cry when you mention Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, you never try to do something in private matters between you and Allah. It became not a very strong relationship. It's like, you know, imagine if all your relationship with your wife, for example, is all in public settings. But you never talk to each other at home. You never spend together alone, time alone, you and her. The relationship will be weak. That's how the nature of this. So as long as you do have that ibadat privately between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is love, there is connection, there is a strong connection between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also, one of the things that it is so important for us to start, a lot of people, social media today make it everything, it's about showing off. Yani somebody saying, MashaAllah, I'm doing Umrah. MashaAllah, you know, send me your dua, inshallah, I'll make dua for you. Now I'm making sujood, now I'm making ruku', now I'm this. You know what? Can we slow down a little bit on these things? It's just nothing became private anymore. The ibadat, we're showing up with it. And it's all about fame. Like even some du'at today and some people do the thing that make them famous. Not they do the thing that make them famous with Allah, make them famous with their crowd. You know, wallahi, Shaykh, it is ugly sometimes. I remember one group of what do you call these guys? Charity organization. Want to take me to a tour, okay? To meet some of the Syrian refugees. So I suggested a place, but they said, no, nobody knows about this. Go to that place because there's more publicity behind it. I said, I don't want any publicity. He said, no, we're going to put it on social media. Why would you put it on social media? Everybody knows that the refugees need help. Why would I need to be on social media on doing that? I'm asking you because I really want to benefit and help. It became all about like showing off. It's about publicity. It's about celebrity culture. Being just famous and, you know, and people to show up. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu wasn't like that when he was doing this to the woman. We have to have this, we do this for Allah. Yani, Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, one of his students, his name is Rabi' ibn Khuthaym. He used to serve a man who's deaf. لا يسمع ولا يرى. He's blind and he can't hear. He comes to his house. So he was decorating the cake, halwa. He's decorating and make it looks nice and putting in a nice setting in the plate. فقالت زوجته قالت هو لا يسمع ولا يرى. Why would you do that? He can't see and he cannot hear. Nobody gonna tell him how nice it is, nor he can see it. فقال لكن الله يسمع ويرى. لا إله إلا الله. He said, but Allah sees and hears. This mabda, this principle need to be revival, need to be something strong in our life. It's important to break your arrogance a little bit, to work with your hand, clean the dishes and sweep. You don't need to be always taking, the high-end work kind of the supervision, especially if you go higher. I love, and I'm not going to embarrass anyone here, but I know some of the community members here, they are famous, mashallah, have the highest level of education, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them a lot of blessing. But ya akhi, no hesitation to make his hand dirty. Work with his hand, pick this, clean this. Right? Yeah, that's normal. That's a good quality. And we need to teach our kids that. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu had no problem to do this. So these are just 5 stories that I want to share, and they represent different aspects of his life radiallahu anhu. There is so many to be mentioned, about the life of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, but I hope today these stories will inspire us, maybe in certain areas in our life, to develop the area of yaqeen, how certain he is about the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, what the Prophet ﷺ said, what the Prophet ﷺ ordered, the hadi of Muhammad ﷺ, to hold into it with no doubt. Inspire us to be in people's services, to help people, and to be always willing to take that steps to stand for justice, stand for people, helping the weak, and also hopefully that inspire us also to have the best of manners and to be generous with our attitude, with our akhlaq, with our words and smiles when it comes to dealing with people radiallahu anhu wa arda. With this, I don't want to keep you more than that. Sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammadin wa alihi wa